Hey everybody, Dean of DVD, and what I'm looking to do tonight is take a look at some of my Criterion horror films, and I've got a handful or so of them. I watched. I had a similar idea to talk about the movies I'm going to watch this Halloween or this October in honor of Halloween, and I was going to show a bunch of stuff, including Criterion's. My thought was to show some that people might not have seen, things that are horror, but perhaps not the most popular horror movies. Some perhaps obscure but great films. And then I saw Collector 1138 do one on just Criterion horror films. And I thought, well, that'd be good because I was going to include mostly Criterion anyway, with maybe one or two others. And I thought, well, let me just do Criterion's. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I'm going to show the Criterions I'm going to show are ones that the Collector did not show. So these are ones that Collector 1138 did not have in his video, and I'll have in mine. And some of these are some of my favorite movies in the horror genre, definitely. So let me start with one that I know Tyler Preston 20 would be upset with me if I didn't include. So I'll start with that, a film by Ashiro Honda, and that would be Godzilla. Is there a more classic monster movie than Godzilla? Certainly probably the monster that's appeared in the most horror movies ever. And you could argue that this is horror, but it is, especially the Japanese version, far more horror. It's nuclear weapons gone wrong. It's a guilt trip for America. Look, we dropped the bomb on Japan, and look what happened. Not only did they pay, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, but now here they pay through, Godzilla, the monster that was awakened or created, perhaps from nuclear weapons. But anyway, interesting movie. I haven't seen Godzilla in a long time, so I need to watch this one. I started to watch it. It's on Blu-ray. Great picture quality for a film this old. It also includes the American version. I'll be watching the Japanese version of Godzilla. So, and that's I'm not going in spine order as he did. So that's spine 594. Yeah, 594. Godzilla. That makes my list of ones that I'm going to be watching in sometime in October. Let's switch it up a little bit. Great movie, one of my favorite movies actually on Criterion. The Night of the Hunter. I'm going to call this a horror movie for a lot of reasons. For one, it's really scary. It involves Robert Mitchum, who plays a preacher of sorts. He's actually a criminal of sorts who has killed people across the countryside. And he finds out that, by overhearing a prison conversation, that this young girl's father may have hidden quite a bit of money, $50,000, I think, something like it, which in those days, somewhere. He thinks the children may have some clue or may know where it is because the father was taken away abruptly to prison, but did hide it. Anyway, and the film is Robert Mitchum's, there's the back, spine number 541. Another Blu-ray, great picture, and a great movie. I mean, it's just damn scary. Robert Mitchum does a great preacher. Shelley Winters is in this. Lillian Gish of silent film fame is in this. The two child actors in this are extraordinary. It's just a great movie. The Night of the Hunter. And the cinematography in this, it's a beautiful film. Directed by Charles Laughton. Yeah, the Charles Laughton. The only movie he ever directed, and what a shame that is. But The Night of the Hunter. Great movie, and great on Criterion also. I have seen this movie. I'm going to watch it again, though. It is plenty scary. Speaking of scary, damn, this is a scary movie. The Vanishing. Basic plot, and you may have seen the American version of this. Is it Swedish? I believe this is Swedish. 90% sure this is Swedish. Yeah, why can't I find what I'm looking for? Oh, it's on the edge here. Yeah, it's in French and Dutch. But what a great movie this is. The American version is similar to, but not as good as, the Dutch version. Um, Basically, a man's girlfriend is kidnapped from a rest stop, and he mourns for her and is seeking her out, and always want to know what happened to her. Years later, apparently the man who abducted her originally contacts him and says that if he wants to find out what happened to his girlfriend, he's willing to let him experience it. So, truly terrifying in a sort of a realistic way. You know, the more a movie, I think, horror movies, the more outlandish they are. Some subculture, that for some reason wants people to saw their body parts off. I'm not buying that. I mean, could it happen? I guess. But more realistically, something like this could happen. And so I think when something's closer to reality, it's that much scarier. If that makes any sense. It is for me anyway. And that's why movies like The Night of the Hunter and The Vanishing, for me, are always going to be a lot scarier than Saw. Saw is going to have its moments of grossness, no doubt about it. But it's not going to have the same horror for me and dread that these films do. So, The Vanishing, highly recommend that one. Here's something a little offbeat. Didn't make the collector's list, but it's going to make mine. Videodrome, David Cronenberg. Definitely, in my mind, a horror movie. What happens when you're obsessed with finding the next great video channel or the next great digital media? Character's name is Max Wren, who's basically trying to find out how this show came into being. It's a great movie. It's really weird. Deborah Harry's in this from Blondie, I believe. It's been a while since I saw it. But interesting packaging on this. It's made to look like a videotape. Pretty cool. If you remember videotapes. Videodrome, David Cronenberg. If you know anything about David Cronenberg, he is weird, and this movie is weird. But a great horror movie. So that'll be one that I'll check out. A couple left, I think. Yeah. Vampyr. Kind of the more traditional vampire story. Carl Theodor Dreyer is responsible for this one, and he made a lot of silent films. This is actually his first non-silent film. However, it's minimal. It's very minimal dialogue in this, and this is an interesting package. Pretty thick Criterion. This is 437. 73-minute film, black and white, in German. For some reason, I think German is the perfect language for a horror movie. I don't know why. It just seems like the German language lends itself. Certainly for vampire movies. Yeah. So this is very atmospheric, very mesmerizing. Slow camera motion in this one. Extremely atmospheric. 2 discs to this, but I'll be watching just the movie. And there's there's a screenplay as well with this. Vampyr. Everything about this looks kind of scary, doesn't it? Just looks scary. Vampyr. And last but not least, and I'm not even sure the pronunciation of this, Kuroniko, which means the black cat or black cat. Kind of a cool looking cover here if you can see the ghost there in the background. It's a ghost story, and you got to have one ghost story, don't you, for Halloween? This is a ghost story, Spine 584, Blu-ray. It says in this, I'll read a little bit of this one. In this poetic and atmospheric horror fable, set in a village in war-torn feudal Japan, malevolent spirits are ripping out the throats of itinerant samurai. When a military hero is dispatched to confront the unseen forces, he finds that he must struggle with personal demons as well. Cool. So that's Kuroniko or Black Cat. So, just to recap, Kuroniko, Black Cat, Vampyr, Carl Theodor Dreyer, David Cronenberg. This is Spine, what is this? Spine 248. I didn't get the spine before on that. The Vanishing is 133, one of the older ones. And you've got Night of the Hunter. And last, but certainly not least, got to have a monster in there someplace, right? I'm going to go with Godzilla. He went with the Blob. I'll go with Godzilla. I say Godzilla is pretty sweet, and probably the classic monster movie, maybe of all time. I mean, you've got Frankenstein, Dracula, the Wolfman, the Blob, as he had. But you know what? I'm going to go with Godzilla. Most classic monster movie of all time. All right, guys. That's my Halloween or horror collection of Criterions. I'm going to get back to watching the movie that I've got paused here. And I'll talk to you later. Hope everything's going well.